of you to this edition of the Nile Cruise. As usual, we meet every week and we discuss a number of issues covering different domains. So let's start our Nile Cruise for today, but first let me say hello to my colleague Ahmed Nader.
Hello,
Ahmed.
Nashwa. Yes, as you said, we're going to be discussing a number of issues, a number of points, political, social, economic issues, of course, in Egypt nowadays. And don't forget to follow us on Nile Cruise, on Nile TV, on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. So let's go out for a quick break and we'll be right back again with you.
Under the title Dialogue Not Clash, the International Book Fair is held. 25 countries, including 17 Arab countries, participated in this fair. The International Book Fair is one of the greatest culture events in the Middle East. The book fair aims at creating a culture of reading on a wide scale.
معرض القاهرة الدولي للكتاب بهذا العام في دورته ال44.
This is the 44th round of the International Book Fair. There are many important issues tackled this year. There are also debates held between various parties that have different points of view. We try to reach through dialogue a meeting point in order to solve the current problems. There are also workshops held for children. These workshops include discussing a number of stories and novels. We have the entire works of Salah Jahin and Tharwat Okasha. The revolution played a great role in the selling of books. Most people prefer to buy political books rather than literary ones.
اشتراك الشباب في كافة محاور ندوات المعرض، إنما عندنا نشاط يومي لمدة ساعتين فقط ملتقى للشباب.
On the sidelines of the International Book Fair, a seminar about the creation of women is held. Many writers and poets took part in this seminar. The seminar discussed the achievements of women in different fields and how women acquire the highest international degrees in various fields.
النهارده عملنا موضوع طبعا بدعوة من الهيئة العامة للكتاب والدين.
I'm so happy today. It's my first participation in the International Book Fair. I was invited by the General Authority for Books. The seminar is entitled The Creation of the Egyptian Woman. The Egyptian woman is a role model that should be followed. The Egyptian woman has done a lot for the sake of her society. I believe that Egyptian women have achieved a lot, but they still need and have to do more in order to achieve all their goals and dreams.
The seminar also highlighted the importance of poetry. Poets said they could solve any problem through their writings. They added that poetry is the language of soul which can overcome any crisis. Basma Taha, Nile TV International.
Welcome back. You're still watching Nile Cruise. One of the most pressing issues in 2011 and 2012 and of course 2013, all the way from back at the revolution, the 25th of January revolution, was the security, which may have described a security vacuum since the revolution. Some of the measures that President Mohamed Morsi proposed to solve this problem, including implementing a far-reaching media campaign, of course to increase the confidence in the police force, maintaining a constant presence in public space, starting an emergency hotline for citizens, and providing more humane detention facilities. All this and more we'll be talking more about by Dr. Ihab Yusuf, the General Secretary of the Police and the People Are for Egypt Association. Hello, Doctor.
It's very nice to be with you. Hello, for you.
Dr. Ihab, first of all, tell us, how do you evaluate this step that has been taken by President Morsi? Can it really achieve this peace way of dealing with the policemen in the streets between the citizen and the policeman?
Look, we need a lot of steps in this area. I mean, the police forces, and we're talking about the sergeants, the police officers, and everybody working in the police segment have a lot of feelings and sorrow since the revolution. It's not because the revolution happened, but because they have been so much blamed for everything have happened before the revolution and after. So now we need a new strategy, a new way of connection between the people and the police. And this is one good step, but we need hundreds of good steps on the way. And I think the new Minister of Interior has a huge role to play in this. And whether he's going to be successful or not, this is going to be set up or at least measured on the amount of collaboration and support that will happen from the people to the police. Otherwise, they will never going to be able to achieve their mission, because the police themselves or alone, without the support of the people, they're not going to be able to achieve anything. And I think the steps should start by announcing, and this should come from the head of the state, that Egypt will no longer have discrimination in abiding by the law. Everybody will be equal in where the law stands. And if this happens, and it comes from the head of the state and being implemented from the police, then everybody will respect himself, the law, and the police forces as well.
Well, Doctor, what about the attitude of the police forces in recent demonstrations and events? Actually, a lot of people have criticized the police forces for being too lenient or maybe too weak in these situations. What do you think about that?
I totally agree with this point of view, because we have to respect people and we have to respect their freedom of speech, their right to demonstrate, their right to express their feelings and their thoughts. But this shouldn't be against the law, and they shouldn't exceed this into doing crimes.
There should be a certain limit.
Exactly, under the umbrella that people are not allowed to exceed the limit and do crimes under the umbrella that we are demonstrating. So if you're going to burn cars or destroy properties, whether it's private or countries' properties, this should be met by law enforcement as it should be according to the law. But having said what we said earlier, that the police is not having the full authority to implement the law now, so they step back and they look, trying to figure out what should they do. And if this happens, it's exactly like a surgery. He's standing there doing an operation, and then all of a sudden he stood and he didn't continue. Definitely the patient will suffer, or maybe he will die. So what we need from the police forces is to take their actions according to the law that's implemented, and being well trained to implement the law while respecting people's rights and the human rights.
And maybe to time their interception during the demonstrations.
Exactly, I totally agree with you.
But how can we do this? I mean, a lot of different times actually it happens that sometimes there are some clashes between people, and the policeman doesn't want to interfere because they don't know to which side he can work or he can protect. And sometimes, you know, he is, let's put it like this, he is scared to come close to some people, or to some people who belong to certain parties, for example. How can we break this
I'll try to be more open, and I'll say that sometimes they try to compliment Islamists, and they don't take action against Islamists when they do things, assuming that these are the president's people, and they don't want to be harsh on them so as not to upset the president. And I think if they want to serve the president and they want to serve this nation, they have to work hard against anybody who do any mistakes. Because if normal people feels that the law is enforced on some and it's not enforced on the others, they will disrespect the country, they will disrespect the law, and they will disrespect the police themselves. And this will make their job more difficult. So to make it easier for them and to make the people happy and understandable and satisfied with what's happening, the law should be enforced on all. And that's why we're saying that it should come from the head of the state. The will should come from the head of the state, that we need to enforce the law all over the Egyptians, all over anybody that's living on this land, whether he's Egyptian or foreigner, whether he's related to the ruling party or not.
Yes.
Anybody who's going to do any mistake will be faced by law.
But Doctor, how would the police maybe perform their due role, but balancing between the roles as well, maybe protecting the civilians and protecting citizens, and as well not to be involving in the political life as well at the same time?
It's very clear. According to the law, the people has the right to express their freedom, to do what they feel is good for them, and to live or achieve their political statements and status and life according to what's legal in the country. So as long as this is happening, then the police has no role to do it, to do against that. But if this political actions, which it should be like mental thinking, demonstrating, taking actions against whoever party you want to, and as long as this is within the law and doesn't hurt or harm anybody or any property, then nobody will be taking action against these people. And this is where the police should stand. Maybe one step further, the police should respect and protect these people while they're using their rights. But if these politicians or whoever they are taking their actions and blocking routes, stopping trains, demonstrating in unacceptable manners by harming others or throwing stones or burning things, this is where the police should interfere to protect them first and to protect the others from their actions. And I think it's a matter of cooperation between the people and the police on understanding the law. And I think we have progressed a long way since the revolution. We didn't experience not demonstrating, but using our political rights before through the last 30 years. So now, through the last 2 years, we have experienced a lot of experience in this. And I think during the current period,
there was also in the past 2 years a bit of a misconception between the political rights and the demonstrating and showing expression maybe, or freedom of expression, and blocking roads, as you said, and halting works and stopping the whole cycle of the economy in Egypt.
exactly.
Not only blocking roads, but there is something else. Let's include also people who stood in front of the Supreme Constitutional Court. The judges were not able to enter, and people standing in front of the media city, that people working in the media inside, they are working, and some of them, of course, even inside, they are scared. They don't know what to say. They have to say what is going on, but still they are under pressure. And of course, the Ittihadiyya Palace to be included, that there are certain places you can stand, but not in this way. So if we compare this to policemen abroad, for example, in the United States, in the United Kingdom, all of these countries, how do they deal in such situations? And is it acceptable to stand in front of the Constitutional Court, for example, which is one of the top courts worldwide?
You touched very important things, because infrastructures and important buildings and institutions should be respected as well. So if you want to strike in front of the media city, let's say, or the Constitutional Court, the police might come to you and say, this is not acceptable, you have to leave in this period of time. And if you didn't do or you didn't obey the law at that stage, police has the right to take action against these people.
But they did not do this. Why?
Excuse me?
They did not do this.
But
why?
But they didn't do it because, as we were saying, these people were considered to be Islamists, supporting the president by a way or another. So the police, and here we're talking about the head of the police, the Minister of Interior, didn't give instructions to enforce the law. And whether this comes through instructions from the president to the Minister of Interior, or it was only the Minister of Interior's decision, it didn't help him, and it didn't help the police, and it didn't help the society, because at the end he was removed from his place, and now we have a new minister. So what he did didn't help him, didn't make him stay longer, and at the same time it disappointed the police and their morale. Nonetheless, it disappointed the people, the normal citizens, in the efficiency or the law enforcement from the police side. So this is what we need to get rid of, is to sorry, we need to enforce the law, as we were saying, overall. Whether this is going to come from the president himself or from the Minister of Interior, but we're not going to be expecting that this will happen on its own from the middle ranked and the lower ranked sergeants and officers. This should come from the head to the bottom, that law should be respected and enforced. If you look, as we were talking,
can take place in the middle, not from the bottom, not from the top. Let's put it with the Minister of Interior.
Let's put it on the Minister of Interior. But he's the head of the minister. I mean, he's the head of the security.
Because if we're talking about the Prime Minister, for example, or the President, or the officers, let's take the Minister of Interior. Can he apply this?
So he has to take his role first in let's say we're addressing a message to the new Minister of Interior. if he wants to serve the nation, and I think that he is a good man and he wants to do so, he needs to deliver a straight message to everybody in this